Morning, everybody. It's September 1st, Sunday here in Central Florida. We are actually prepping, or I should say, waiting to see what happens with Hurricane Dorian. I want to offer our prayers to friends and everyone in the Bahamas who's actually taking the sloth of this storm right now, a strong Category 5. I don't know how many of you have been through a Category 5. It's not a pleasant experience. Seen firsthand what a Category 5 can do to homes and buildings in the Caribbean that are primarily made out of poured concrete, or let's say reinforced cinder block with rebar. 2 years ago in St. Martin, my home country, just to see the sheer devastation there. But anyhow, we are here now, 2019. And we're talking about Hurricane Dorian. And so I was actually on the phone this morning with a colleague of mine. I would say somebody who's been a mentor to me in with regards to disaster prep and recovery efforts. And my friend Glenn, we've both been in the telecom area for 20 plus years, having to run critical infrastructures that are responsible for restoration of communications and disaster coordination efforts. And we were looking at Dorian and the fact that it's now a Category 5 and this thing is still moving due west. All the models, or at least some of the models, show that it will actually slowly make a turn to the north, and that has us a bit concerned because, how is it that it's something that's packing that much intensity and that large is going to turn? It's not going to do a turn on a dime and start heading due north. And I think that's where my concern is, and it's more concern for people here who have sort of put their guards down. I think a large part of that, unfortunately, is the visual aids that we see on our news, and rightfully so. They, it's not to say that they're doing a bad job, but we have to think of something, and I should say maybe bring you more up to date on what that cone of uncertainty means. A lot of people look at that cone and they think, well, that's the area that the storm will pass, and that is in fact not the case. The cone of uncertainty is the area that the eye of the storm could potentially pass. So if you were to take a snapshot of the state of Florida and the Bahamas and this storm with all its cloud mass and everything like that, and you take that eye and you cut it out and lay it over that map and lay it in the cone, that is the left or right wiggle room for the eye. Now, there's a lot of stuff outside of the eye, and all of that is a potential, or let's say has the potential to cause damage. So don't be fooled, folks. Get yourselves ready. Make sure that you have your homes and properties boarded up. Make sure you have a plan A, B, and C. Those who plan fare a lot better than those who don't plan. I always tell people, plan for the worst and hope for the best. And remember that when we don't necessarily plan and we get surprised, then of course we tend to pick up 911 and call, and then we're putting other people's lives at risk because they have to come out and try and save us. One final thought on this: the models that are there are forecasts. It does not mean that that's where the storm is going to go. We've seen in Hurricane Irma, as recent as Irma, that Irma was forecasted, and all the models had Irma passing to the west of Florida, actually staying out in the Gulf and hugging the coastline, moving up. And at the very last minute, the storm kind of made its own decision and came right up the spine. So don't be fooled, folks. I think my friend Carson said this morning that Hurricane Charlie changed course within 4 hours. And completely caught everybody off guard. So, don't really sit back there and because the forecasts and the weathermen and everyone says, and God bless them, they're doing a fantastic job and they're there for a reason and a purpose, but do not for one moment think that the tracks that you're seeing and the cone of uncertainty means that you're in the clear. Everyone be safe, and I'll try and bring in some more, I should say, experiences and knowledge to share with you as we progress through the day. Hey folks, we're still here preparing for Hurricane Dorian, and wanted to come by some here and show you guys. I'm at my local hardware store, Lowe's, and you see these things behind us here? Those things are precious. And I'll tell you why. You take one of those, put it in your shower and fill it with water. And actually that becomes your lifesaver once the water goes, if and when it goes. Just a little tip here to help you get along in the aftermath of Dorian if it decides to come our way. Hey guys, back at the local hardware store here, and these little items here become even precious as well, because if you didn't get out to get any sandbags, you can actually take these and make your own sandbags. You take half a bag, empty it into a contractor garbage bag, and you stack them moving along, and then alter that and build yourself up. And the nice thing is, after the storm, you just take it, throw it around your plants, and you don't have to worry about getting rid of all that white sand. Just another tip to keep you safe for Hurricane Dorian.